Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Grand Lux by Ciro Marchetti. The website is, if it focuses, usgamesinc.com. Feel free to check that out if you want to, of course. Supportive Oracle cards, Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. Illustrated by Jesse Reish. There's a website here. Down near the bottom, hayhouse.com. Feel free to freeze frame on any of that information, of course, if you want it. In case I didn't leave that up there long enough, there's the Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, which I'm not sure that's focusing, but there we go. All right. What do we have for Sagittarius? I already feel like I gotta get things done. Things are good. Two of Wands. You're making quick decisions. That's not really... I wouldn't say that was out of character for Sag. You make quick decisions, you need to. You do what you gotta do. Healing. So healing, I feel like we want healing. I don't know if we really have it to start off with. The strongest energy I'm seeing is that people are following your lead. I keep getting, usually with Sag, I notice this a lot. They don't really want to be the leader, they just tend to be the leader. And sometimes I feel like I've had these conversations where they'll tell me they're not the leader, but then I'll point out, but you did everything, you started everything, you gave everybody direction. Well, technically I led, but I didn't want to, and I feel like that's where it goes to. And then especially because of the fallout. I feel like Sagittarius... I'm trying to fast forward this to the point. Sagittarius is very well aware of the fallout of being a leader. Because you do get credit for getting things done, but you also get the blame when things don't go the way other people wanted them to. It may not even be that things didn't go well, but if they didn't go the way somebody else wanted them to, all of a sudden, the ridicule is all on you. Meanwhile, you're like, I didn't want to lead, you just wouldn't do it. So I actually did something, now you're blaming me for it? That's great. There's a distance here. Somebody does... I feel like there's somebody else here who doesn't take the lead, but likes to scrutinize the way it didn't work out. This is a I feel like they're looking at this, well, if this went the way it usually goes, if this usually works this way, there's something here about if this the usual. And I feel like you're looking at this like the usual wasn't that great. You got the Knight of Pentacles, you got the Eight of Pentacles. I think they use them as coins in this one, yeah. Coins, Pentacles, it's earth either way. I just like the word Pentacle better, quite frankly. It's not that it's not good. You didn't have a bad outcome. It's just that somebody else is kind of like, well, this is what I'm used to, and this is how it usually works for me, and I wanted this, but this wasn't here this time because we did things differently. Somebody's picking it apart. They're picking it apart. They're not happy with the way you did something. But the thing is, it's good what you did. You still made sure everything that needed to be taken care of gotten taken care of. And maybe certain things that don't really apply anymore were left out. So it's kind of I feel like I'm looking at this yeah, that might be what usually happened, but that was also a waste of time, or that didn't serve us as much as, that time went better somewhere else. It's like going through the house every day, every day, 3 times a day, to make sure everything is put in a specific place, just making sure, sweeping the floors. For example, if you swept the floors 3 times a day, every day, it's kind of listen, let's sweep the floor at the end of the night, so that way it starts off fresh the next day. So it's kind of sweeping it at the end of the night and then sweeping it in the first thing in the morning. It's kind of well, that's kind of redundant anyway. And then there's a lot that goes on. Let's just sweep the floor at the end of the day. Just sweep the floor once at the end of the day. And they're like, yeah, but then it got messy. By the time we got to sweeping it, it was quite messy. And they're like, well, that's the point of sweeping it. It's kind of like we're just, instead of doing it 3 times a day, we're doing it once, and we're doing other things with that time. Instead of doing that in the morning, we're getting these things done. In the middle of the day, we're over here, we're not taking our stuff away from that, we're just continuing on with something else that needed to be done that was falling behind. We use that time better. But I feel like somebody keeps going, yeah, but this is how this usually works, and this usually looks better, and this usually people like that more, and blah, 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 blah. And you have to stand up for yourself saying, yes, but that was wasted time. And we need to just kind of be, and I feel like your energy is more random than this other person. You get things done, you get a lot of things done, but it's kind of like, for example, maybe Tuesday, the food didn't show up, so you're like, all right, I took that extra time and went and got some food. Maybe Thursday, it was like, all right, we had a mess, something fell apart. So during that time, extra time, I fixed something that fell apart. It's kind of like I rolled with the punches. I did what I had to do. That's just what it was going to be that day. Somebody's picking apart what you did. And what I keep feeling is like, I don't understand why we're giving it too much time. Don't get caught up in the sideways comments or the energy that's kind of critiquing every little thing you did. They didn't lead. They didn't want to, is what I'm getting. This is also not new. I feel like we need to disconnect from the thought. I'm going to say this. I know I'm broken record with this. Paul McKenna, I Can Mend Your Broken Heart, is geared towards romantic relationships. You can use it for anything. I've used it for business relationships a lot. You just take your energy away from it, you bring it down, you see it for what it is, and you move on from it. It helps you literally let go of something and just kind of like, instead of it plaguing your thoughts, especially if this person keeps bothering you, you can take the energy away from it so that they don't affect you and just move on to something more important. I feel like what we need to do is realize this person is who they are. And I don't feel the need to like argue with them about it. I feel like that just creates more energy where I don't want it. And they won't shut up. I also get that too. They're not going to shut up. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to keep going. They need to sort out what they need to sort out. And some people, sometimes the more they talk, the more they work through a thought. That's how some people work through thoughts. I'm more of a person, like I do talk to myself and I work out thoughts, but I'm by myself. But if I'm in a crowd of people, it all stays within my head and I work it out that way. I don't know why I'm saying that other than context, I guess. But they might be talking to you and complaining about things, but coming to peace with how things are different. That might be how they're, making peace with the changes, how they're solidifying with the changes, how they're coming into that solidarity. But it may not be something you enjoy doing. They can do that with somebody else. They will move on in some respect. I do get this 3 of Wands. Okay, what does that mean? Like, I know it's a general read, but if they can't deal with it, they're going to literally leave. But I feel like for a lot of them, at some point, they'll stop complaining and they'll get used to the new way of doing things, especially when they realize you're not listening anymore. There's a lot of... it's not that they're going to stop complaining, they just might complain to somebody else. And I feel like let that happen. Let that happen. I don't think they're going to stop complaining. They just might complain to somebody else. And if they really can't stand it, they might go somewhere else. That's how it's going to be. I feel like I'm not happy with this, but the thing is, you are doing well. This is very... Like, you're realizing that this person, you can't make them happy. I feel like this is actually good. The 5 of Cups with the creativity, I feel like you try a couple different ways to try to make this person happy, but then you realize there's no winning here. It's just always going to be looked at. Unless even if you kept doing it the way it was done, they still would have been complaining about that, is what I'm also getting. So there's this, like, with this person, there's no winning. Which is another reason to emotionally disconnect from it. Your influence on this situation is bringing a lot more success, victory. It's a better way to do things. It suits the situation better. At this time, at this point, the way you handle it suits the situation better. That may be a transitory situation. This may be a transitory moment. But if that moves on, you'll go to where you need to go next. Sagittarius tends to be quite adaptable. So you'll adapt as necessary. Give yourself the accolades you deserve. The trick is to not let this energy bring you down. I feel like you're going to hear it, but it's kind of like, once you hear it, kind of like, all right, that's how they feel. There's always going to be somebody who feels that way. Okay, and let it go. You did do really well with this. The whole trick of this is if you can find a way, the healing can be here. I think we talked about this in the beginning. The healing can be here, but the healing is for you. And the healing is to not let this person over-influence you or hold you down emotionally. Just kind of realizing this is them, and that's what they need to do. Not everybody's going to agree, and that's not bad. Without judging that person and who they are, without even getting into that, especially since it's a general read, just kind of realizing people are going to do this to you every now and then, and just kind of like, I hear it, did the best I could, I'm letting it go. Literally just letting it go. I don't know, is there anything else I need to say with this? I would like a little bit more healing for you out of this, but I don't know if that's allowed. Okay. You got to do it in your own way, in your own time. Don't get caught up in the heartbreak. It's the Three of Swords reversed. It's kind of like, let their pain be their pain. Because I feel like you are hearing it. The thing is, I do think you're absorbing the information. You're assessing it and being like, yeah, I knew that, but I didn't want to do that. The whole thing of this perfect outcome, it just, I don't know. Perfection is a lie, is the best way I can put it. It doesn't really exist. It's just the way you're experiencing it. There is no perfection. There's just like, you're going through an experience, you're seeing the outcome, you're deciding if you want that to continue, and if you don't like it, you change it and you try again. Perfection isn't real. Things are working out the way they're supposed to. I don't know why I'm saying that other than, I mean, I believe that, but there you go. All right. So I feel like they're saying the healing is for you here. The opportunity is for you here to not let this person over-influence you. Because you will, again, you will hear it. It's not like you're just going to ignore it like they don't exist. You'll absorb it. You'll think about it. You'll decide for yourself what you feel about it, and then let it go. That's all we need. Anything else? I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.